Hello, welcome to Global Business. We're doing Global Business Corporate today. I am Imewade Uhyomokai. On the program today, we're looking at hot cash. Yes, we'll be talking about hot cash, money, and looking at treasury bills and bonds. How do you invest them? What's it about the new federal government's savings bond? Some of the time, we'll talk about the green bonds. But now, today, we're going to talk about the federal government savings bond. And the Vice President of Cowrie Assets, Okudili Egu, will be telling us about the federal government savings bonds on our talking point. Now, how much is the dollar in the black market? We hear it is coming down as low as 400 naira, or even less. I don't know the price today, but as at Friday, the last trading day, I know it was lower than 400 naira on the parallel market. On the interbank, it still hovers within 305 and 307. So, the man who is in charge of monetary policy, Godwin Emefiele, says that he's going to make sure these rates, the parallel market, the interbank market, converge. He said that during the MPC meeting. Let's listen to the man behind the Central Bank of Nigeria as boss, Godwin Emefiele, as he makes threats.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to say that reserves at this time still trending upwards to almost close to $31 billion as I speak with you. And the fact that we have done this consistently for 4 to 5 weeks should tell everybody, or those who doubt the strength of central bank to sustain this policy, for me to say that they are taking a risk and they will lose in this bid to want to place a wrong bet on the direction that we are going. The direction is that there is a determination to see to the convergence of those rates. And with what we have seen so far, we are very optimistic that those rates will converge. And all the elements in the foreign exchange, on the flagging foreign exchange market, will no doubt be implemented. It is a program, and I am happy to say that that program is on course. We are happy that it's looking good, in fact, beyond our expectation. And those who still remain on the sidelines, doubting the level of CBN's ability to sustain this policy, that they are on the wrong side of the bet.
Varieties of highly nutritious rice in Abakaliki, Ofada, Kano. Yet Nigeria wastes billions on rice importation. Cocoa in the southwest, and yet top dollar is spent on imported chocolate and beverages. Fruits rot in Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, yet imported juice line the shops. 82 million hectares of rich arable land, yet no jobs, and food insecurity threatens.
Our real wealth is in farming, livestock, hatcheries, fisheries, horticulture, and forestry.
It's time to act different. Time to bring Nigerian farmers to the market. Farmers Market, growing Nigeria's agro-economy. Showing every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on AIT.
Welcome to Talking Point. Earlier on, I told you that we're looking at treasury bills, bonds, especially the federal government savings bond. Remember, the federal government just opened up the market and started a savings bond. But many people have been listening or watching or hearing about it. Not many people know about it. So I'm giving you a first-class chance of knowing about the federal government savings bonds. But that's not before you know about what bonds are all about, what treasury bills are all about. And we've got the right man for the job here. I'm talking about Okudili Egu. Okudili Egu is the vice president of Cowrie Asset Management Limited. Okudili, welcome to Global Business Talking Point.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we're having tea on a hot afternoon, and you're going to explain to us with this cash here what bonds are all about. Because I know bonds have to do with cash. And this is Nigerian cash. Anyway, before then, let's talk about bonds and treasury bills. What are treasury bills? How are they different, if they are, from bonds?
Okay, treasury bill and bonds are basically what we call fixed income securities. The difference is majorly, the difference between the treasury bill and a bond is from two terms, two structures that makes them different. One, how the interest is paid, and two, the tenor. Now, all treasury bills usually have a duration of less than 1 year. We have three major tenors in treasury bills. We have the 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. So, and also the interest in treasury bills are paid upfront. Let me explain. Assuming we have, I want to invest 10,000 naira.
That's 10,000
naira in a treasury bill. And this treasury bill is a 364 days treasury bill. And the interest rate, the auction interest rate is 18%. What that means is that I will take out 1,800 naira and invest upfront on day one 8,800 naira.
Why do you have to take out 1,800?
Because
1,000.
That's the interest portion.
Okay.
And it's paid upfront. It's
Okay.
a discounted instrument.
Okay.
With treasury bills, interest is paid upfront.
Okay.
So what we are actually investing is the principal less
the interest.
interest.
Okay.
So I'm actually investing not 10,000 naira, but it's 8,800 to receive 10,000 naira.
Okay.
So that's why I say they are interest on treasury instruments or treasury bills are paid upfront.
Okay.
And they are called discounted instruments. So I will invest 8,800 and receive 10,000 naira after 364 days.
That's about a year
That's
and
about
2
a year.
days.
Not up to a year.
Okay.
A year is 365 days. This
Okay,
is
but okay, yes. Less 2 days. Yes.
Less 2 days. This is 364 days.
Yes.
That is treasury bill.
Okay.
But with a bond interest is not paid up front. Interest is paid either as amortizing bond or paid as bullet. With an amortizing bond, it's like you are doing car loans in which you pay part of the interest and part of the principal monthly or as agreed, or the frequency that is agreed. But with a bond, let's also assume I'm investing 10,000 naira.
Okay.
Now, bonds have tenors of about minimum of 5 years to become a bond, technically a bond. We have usually a minimum tenor of 5 years. You could have a tenor of up to 50 years. Now, assuming I buy a 5-year bond and interest is 10%.
Of 10,000 naira.
10,000.
Okay, let me be the investor. So give me the.
I am the investor.
Okay,
Assuming you are taking a federal government bond.
Okay.
You are federal government.
Okay.
I am the investor.
Okay.
So I will give you
5,000 naira.
10,000
naira.
naira at the interest rate of 10% or coupon rate of 10% per annum.
Okay.
Because usually bond interest is paid every 6 months. So every 6 months I expect to receive the equivalent of 6 months interest.
Because, okay, so if it's 10,000 naira and 10% per annum, 10% of 10,000 naira is 1,000
naira. Therefore, every 6 months,
it'll be 500.
So I will receive 500 naira
for
every 6 months.
6 months. 500
naira every 6 months for 5 years, which means I will receive 500 naira.
So let's take the 500 naira for 5 years. That's for 1 year.
That's
for
one
one
year.
and a half year now.
That's for 2 years.
2 years.
That's for 3
years.
This will be for
4 years.
This will be for 5
5 years.
This will be for
6 years. 7 years. 8 years. 9 years. 10 years.
That means at the end of 10 years, I would have collected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10,000 naira. Another
10
10,000.
years time, I invested 10,000 naira. I have gotten via interest payment another 10,000 naira. So that means in 10 years, assuming I keep all the interest and the principal together, I would have gotten
20,000
naira.
Okay, but does the principal come back to you?
The principal will come back to me at year 10.
At year
At
10,
the end
so
of 10
I
years,
give
you
you
give me
this 10,000 naira.
Aside from the 1,000 naira I've collected from you, or on yearly basis, or 500 I've collected for you every 6 months. That's basically what the bond is. I'll collect this bond back, the principal I invested at the end of 10 years.
Okay.
Now, also, it's possible that I have given you this money. Okay, I have given you this money, and I'm going to collect it back at the end of 10 years. Year 5, I may have
issues.
I may have liquidity needs, and I'll need cash. Because the bond is a capital market instrument, we have markets, specialized markets, where I can go and trade my claim against the federal government. The claim is the bond now, which applies. This is what the federal government is owing me. This is the interest they pay on it every 6 months. This is all the terms of the contract is how we make the bond. I can take that claim and go to a market and sell. That market is the Nigeria Stock Exchange, is the FMDQ market, where I can look for anybody who is interested in buying a federal government bond. I will sell that to him and transfer my claim to him. And then the person will give me cash equivalent to what is the opportunity cost of money as at that day.
So that's a third party, introduction of a third party now. Yeah. You are selling this 10,000.
I'm selling my claim.
This is the 10,000. I give it.
I have a claim.
Yes, for it. So the claim, you have sold your, it's like selling your rights.
My rights to it, yeah.
Selling your rights to somebody else, a third party. So
that
you don't
party,
have
that party will now at year 10 receive the principal and subsequent interest from the day I have sold to him.
But you continue to receive the interests.
I will stop receiving the interest the day I lose my entitlement.
That's your rights. The day you sell your rights.
Claim, the day I sell my claim. Whoever is buying that claim, from that day, from that settlement date, will start receiving the interest on that claim.
Okay, so let's say it's year 5. You've already gotten 5,000 naira.
Yes.
As interest.
Yes.
For year 5.
Up to year 5.
Up to year 5. Now you sell your claim of 10,000 naira to a third party who pays you 10,000 naira.
Equivalent of 10,000 naira as at that day. It could be higher.
Okay. Is the money value.
The money value as at that day, or the market price as at that day.
So in other words,
or the opportunity cost of that money as at that day.
As at that day. In other words, 10,000 naira in 5 years' time could be as much as 50,000 naira.
It may not be as much as 50,000.
Or as low as 5,000 naira. Considering the opportunity cost and
the bond instruments are not as volatile as equity instruments.
Okay.
So taking it to 50,000 naira is be a fast stretch.
Okay.
But it could be 11,000, 12,000, 13, or it could be 9, it could be 8, it could be 7. Within that band.
Okay.
You understand? But what will determine the price is the underlying interest rate in the economy. Okay. The MPC rate. What is the opportunity cost of money as at that day? Okay,
now, I know there's been a new structure for the bond market that was recently introduced by the government or the Nigerian Stock Exchange, actually. Well, tell us about this new structure for the bond market.
Okay, the federal government is, for different objectives, is trying to introduce a new product which they call the Federal Government Savings Bond.
Okay.
Which is a variation from the normal vanilla bond, plain vanilla bond we know. Now, I think part of the reasons why they've introduced that is to want to deepen financial inclusion and allow the retail investors also benefit from investment in federal government securities.
By deepen financial inclusion, I'm sure you mean they want to widen the investment net or the investor net.
Investor net.
In other words, they want more people to be part of the bond market.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, so they've done public awareness, and they've given out the retail investors an opportunity to participate in borrowing money to the federal government to finance their capital project. We've been operating a deficit for more than 20 years now, and that deficit is financed. So you'll be borrowing. But large players have always been institutional investors, high net worth individuals, and the banks.
Now, looking at the 13 to 17, does it mean no one can now invest in the federal government savings bond again?
No, there are opportunities for everybody who have interest in investing. Through two windows.
Okay.
The program will be monthly. The debt minimum have promised that the offer
will be monthly.
Will be monthly. So if you did not participate in the primary offer in month 1,
yeah,
you will have opportunity to participate in month 2.
Which is April.
Which will be in April.
Okay.
Between the same period between the 13th and the
so
between 12th and 20th of every month.
I'm sure those who are watching, you better take notes because you may want to invest in this bond that is giving you 13.01%. How many businesses can bring in 13.01%? For how long?
For 2 years.
For 2 years. 13.0. Is that 13.01% per annum?
Per annum. So be careful. Interest in all financial instruments. Mark my word. Interest in all financial instruments.
Tell me about that.
I always measured on per annum basis.
Per annum basis. Good.
So when you have investment that is promising you flat basis,
yes,
10% flat basis per month, be very careful. It is not real. Interest in financial terms is always measured on per
annum basis. So we're looking at 13.01 per annum, which means in 2 years you can get into 26.02%.
Yes, and it could be higher because we compound. If you reinvest your returns on the federal government savings bond, interest is paid quarterly.
Okay.
Quarterly, which means every 3 months, the federal government will pay you the equivalent of the 3 months equivalent of 30% into your account, because as you are subscribing, you are providing your account details. So CBN will pay it to your account on every quarterly.
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months. So
and you can invest as low as 5,000 naira.
5,000 naira, and you can reinvest the interest you have earned, so that can compound and enhance your total value at the end.
Okudili, we are going to use our cash here to talk about this money, this federal government savings bond, because I'm quite interested in it. I'm sure many Nigerians don't know about this federal government savings bond, though the federal government made a lot of noise about it. But you see, just doing adverts without explanations don't really get the job done. So
I'm Okudili.
You're Okudili.
And
I'm the federal government.
I'm investing
through DMO.
Through DMO. I'm investing 20,000 naira.
Okay. In
your FGN savings bond that was issued, that is maturing March 22nd, 2019. That's the maturity period, because bonds are always named based on their maturity period. So let's say it's called FCS savings bond March 22nd, 2019.
Okay.
I've invested 20,000 naira in that bond at the coupon rate of 13.01%. Now, it is a quarterly interest payment bond.
So I don't have to wait for March 22nd, 2019 to get my interest on my 20,000.
They will pay me every 3 months, the equivalent of 3 months, 3 months interest equivalent of 30% will be paid to me. So for the sake of simplicity, it's 500 naira.
Let's imagine that's 13.01%.
So every 3 months I have 500.
So you mean
every 3 months
I invested in March, April, May, June, I have 500 naira.
June 22nd, 500.
June
September
22nd, 500.
December 22nd, 500.
A lot for Christmas.
March 22nd, 500.
And that's probably for Easter.
That's for 1 year. So I mean 1 year I have received 20,000 naira.
Good.
Another cycle
starts.
March 22nd, I receive another 500 naira. June 22nd, I receive another
500 naira. September.
As I'm receiving this 500 naira, I can add them up and reinvest.
I was going to ask that.
I can add it and reinvest into the same bond. Now, for those who missed the March 22nd, 2019 FGM bond, by April, the DMO will reopen the same March 22nd. And I have an opportunity of investing into the same bond. So I can, by way of annuity payment, be contributing maybe a fixed amount of money into that same bond. And by March 22nd, 2019, I will have a bulk figure that would have accumulated if I invest the interest in my new funds, and you can pay. So that can take care of a target savings for a particular purpose, for a particular goal, financial goal I want to achieve in life.
I mean, this is very good, especially considering the fact that Nigerians don't have a very good savings culture. The economy doesn't encourage you to save because you have very unexpected issues that come up. Now, in this, while you were explaining before, you talked about the fact that government is going to, or when you buy bond, you can have some issues and want to come in at the middle to sell your claim. Can you sell your claim for the federal government bonds?
Savings bonds.
Savings bonds.
Yes, that is why as distribution agents, you have nominated or appointed over 100 stockbroking firms. And these are members of Nigeria Stock Exchange. Usually are participants in Nigeria Stock Exchange. So Nigeria Stock Exchange is the platform, the only platform through which you can sell your claims on the federal government savings bond.
Now, I know that many Nigerians will be interested in this, but they can't go to DMO. You have talked of the distribution. So when an ordinary Nigerian like me comes to you, what do I need to do? Because I know you are not doing this for free. You will definitely get your fees.
Yeah, for the primary offer, for the offer that the DMO is offering, for those who bought last week, between the Monday and Friday, they don't need to pay me for my services. DMO, who I'm their agent,
pays you,
pays me a commission as a distribution agent, not the investor. So the burden is not the investor. The burden is on DMO.
On DMO,
who is raising those funds via stockbroking investment houses. They will pay us what they call a receiving agency commission.
Okay.
So the investor does not.
So my 5,000 is my 5,000.
Your 5,000 is your 5,000.
I don't need to pay an extra 500 or 1,000 naira to you.
No.
Good. No. But I come to register with you.
No, when you come to register, the account opening, just all you need to do is to open a CSS account, which is whether you open it, if you open it in any of the stockbroking houses, you're opening in the same database. Because you have only one CSS account. So all of us are helping you to open into the central depository, into the central clearing house.
Thank you. Kudilegu. Kudilegu is the vice president of Cowrie Assets Management Limited. And of course, you know they are one of the distributors of the federal government savings bond. I don't know about you, but I'm rushing next month, around April, to go get my savings bond. In this time of recession, this may just be the best kind of savings that we can get when you know that in every 3 months, you can get something into your account. Okay, so you heard him. But are those rates really affecting businessmen, entrepreneurs, manufacturers? From our investigations, many banks, especially across the country, are still not selling dollars to their customers. Many of them are doing deals with these dollars. So the central bank may need to watch out and may need to probably have its eyes wide open on a lot of these banks, because we hear of stories of manufacturers, of bankers asking manufacturers to bring in percentages that they will sell it to them at particular prices if they are going to give them a percent of what they get from that sale. That's illegal. That's corruption. That's against what this government is practicing right now. So why not make that call today to your banker and get the dollars that you need? So a lot has been happening in the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, NEXIM. What has been happening? Let's find out. Nigeria's House of Representatives Committee on Banking and Finance visited LAD Group as part of its oversight functions. Why, you may ask? Well, LAD Group Limited is an indigenous oil mill extraction company in Ikene, Ogun State. The factory is dedicated to sourcing shea nuts and processing them into shea butter, which is later exported. Shea butter is used for confectionaries, chocolate, and cosmetics. LAD Group was given $5.78 million to set up this factory by the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, NEXIM Bank. And that is why the Jones Onyereri-led committee had to go for a first-hand experience in this factory.
That's part of our oversight functions, to inspect projects being carried out by agencies within our purview. As you're aware, we oversee the operations of Nexim, the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, and they've just given a facility to LAD Group. LAD Group is into shea butter production, and then we've come to see how far they've gone with the project.
The concept of this location is to have an industrial cluster and to have value addition that will be given to the products they are processing, so that nothing goes to waste. Part of that concept of the plan is for an IPP that will not only power the industries that will operate in this environment, but will also be able to give power supply to
some corporate social responsibility.
We're happy that they have come to see a project like ours, which has been conceived for quite a while, but by the grace of the support we have from Nexim Bank, we're able to see the vision coming to reality. The process of the visitation, there were a lot of ideas exchanged. I believe that some of these ideas they will take back to the larger house.
This sort of investment should be repeated in all villages so that there is no migration of labor from villages to cities.
So this is where we wrap it off on Global Business this Monday. We've talked about the Treasury bills and, of course, bonds, especially the federal government savings bond. So rush and get your own federal government savings bond. For me, I missed March, but I'm definitely not going to miss April. So rush and look for any of the distributing companies and get your own bonds. It's simple, cheap money. It's always nice doing business with you. Global Business, everything business.